explain in very short order, or maybe I should. You probably know more about than I do. But the question is to ban certain practices, among them trapping, baiting, and using dogs to hunt bears, black bears in Maine. Unless there are certain circumstances of research and things like that that could be necessary for those practices to be used. If that's not a fair summary, please elaborate more. So your question is yes or no on Proposition 1. Are you going to vote?
I fail to see the sport in throwing a dozen donuts out and waiting for the bear to come along. So the hunting argument doesn't hold a lot of water for me. However, game wardens use these practices quite effectively to control dangerous situations. And I would like our game wardens who know what they're doing and use these methods properly to have the ability to do so. But the general public, I would ban it.
Okay. That's pretty straightforward. You have a follow-up question for Sue, or?
I know.
You don't? Well, I will then pass on my follow-up and ask you to step in to answer your response, yes or no.
Sure. Let me talk about 4 things related to this question. The first is your frustration as a voter in dealing with a complex issue and having to narrow that down to a yes or no is the frustration that I feel as a legislator often. And so the quality of the question comes into play as well as other things. I just want to make that quick point. There's a lack of data being discussed in the politics of this question. So, for instance, have I heard whether bears regulate their population based on the food supply? For example, what the population of bears have increased. What sets the goal for the population of bears in the state? Managing the bear population is important. Managing our behavior, human behavior, is important. I'm concerned about the public policy question of fee-based revenue streams for the agencies responsible for protecting the wildlife. This is for the Department of Marine Resources as well as for the Inland Fisheries and Wildlife Department. We have people who may have a conflict of interest. Their jobs may depend upon the hunting fees that they collect. Does that influence their decision when they make political statements? And finally, I'm upset with the Humane Society. Not only, well, I could go on.